Welcome to our May 6th board meeting. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you. Can we have the roll call, please?
Cole.
Here.
LaFountain will be here shortly. Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Absent.
He is absent. And Quinn.
Here. Good evening. Supervisor LaFountain will be along shortly. He is throwing out the ceremonial first pitch just down the hill here tonight for strikeout cancer. So he will be here momentarily. Just before our two public hearings, I would like to ask Councilwoman Metzler to the podium to present the annual Crane Award.
Thank you.
We have some members of our Historic Preservation Board here. If you'd like to come up and join me, you certainly played a role in part of this award, as you do every year. I am honored to be the liaison to the Historic Preservation Board for the town board, and this is a group of residents who has a tremendous amount of knowledge, experience, and background in the area of historic preservation. They take their job very seriously. We also have business owners and residents who take their properties very seriously. So every year we like to recognize a business or property owner who has taken it upon themselves to beautify, preserve, or in some way enhance their property in an historic nature. And this year we are proud to present this Crane Award. Again, it's an award that's granted in memory of Jeff Crane. You may have known Jeff, who was instrumental in a lot of the improvements regarding preservation in our historic Four Corners area. This award is granted in his memory to individuals who have cared for Penfield's past through the preservation of a structure with historic significance. The 2015 award is granted to Stephen and Stephanie Wilkinson in recognition of their efforts to enhance the structure at 1783 Penfield Road, which is on land historically known by all of us as the Humphrey House. The hard work and dedication is a shining example to those around us, and the certificate is awarded in honor of this great accomplishment. It is signed by Joan Belgiorno, chair of our Historic Preservation Board, also Glenn Enervy and Don Crummer here as well. And Stephanie, you and your husband Stephen have taken it upon yourself, not only in the inside of the Humphrey House, but most recently, a very noticeable change to the outside. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the porch that you put on there is basically going back in time to how it used to be. And we're very pleased to see that come to fruition. So you must accept this because your name is already on here. This is going to be hung in the town hall. You're on the list of many, many property owners who have done some fantastic things to their property. So thank you so much for coming and to bring your business to the town of Penfield. Having Humphrey House flourish once again, and for putting on a pretty neat porch. Thank you very much. This one's yours. Okay. This one's ours. But thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the work you do on the Historic Preservation Board. Thanks.
Okay, we will now move to public hearing number 1. Amy, if you could please read the legal.
Okay. To consider allowing an outdoor dining area at 2124 and 2126 5 Mile Line Road in the Four Corners zoning district. The legal was published in the Penfield Post on April 23rd, 2015, posted on the town website and the town clerk bulletin board. 47 postcards were mailed.
Thank you, Mr. Horowitz. Is this in order?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you very much. Come on up. How you doing? Good, how are you?
Good.
Brought your own fence.
I brought up a piece of fence to show you guys, and I was hearing that you might not have got a couple of these, but I don't know if you want to see.
All right, we can.
Thank you.
Okay.
front, my name's Andrew Hintonock, architect, working with Sam DePrima on this property.
And just so everyone knows, this is formerly the Angus House, now Cha-Cha's
Correct, it's
Wood Fire Grill.
And could you please repeat your name?
Andrew Hintonock.
Hintonock, okay. Thank you.
Sure. As you can see, we are, in the plan, we're looking at doing a 14 by 48 stamped concrete patio space out in front of the building. We're going to put 3 brick piers with lighting in the front, a black aluminum fence decorative around the perimeter, and also redo the concrete up against the building in this walkway space here. It'll just be plain concrete brushed. This particular concrete for the patio itself would be colored, stained, and scored to look more like a stone with a real slight texture to it, so it seems like stone, stamped concrete. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but. And I do have a picture of the existing front of the building, and you guys are probably all familiar with that. The fencing, that's why I brought the sample, will be much like basically this portion over. This is a multi-sample. There won't be any under rail posts like that. We'll do the rings, and we're going to have a ball at each post, and nothing above the fence like this. So it'll be flat top, flat bottom, circles, and ball.
Is that the height? It's a little fence.
It's a little short.
Little fence.
It would work for my son. It would keep him in.
Yeah, we're going to do a 3-foot, a 3-foot fence there. The piers themselves will be 42 inches high. Top of the fence will be 3 feet high. We're planning on approximately, in the drawing we're showing 6 4-tops and some soft seating, but it might be something along the lines of maybe 8 4-tops, 32 people max in there. Most likely, it's really to be determined when they get it started. And we're also considering some cedar planters around the perimeter to help with the visuals, and then just to give it a little bit more aesthetic. They have some plantings there on the sides. We're not sure exactly how those are going to work out. Those are just ideas at this point. But we wanted to have the ability to be able to put some planters around. Concrete color is going to be terracotta, very similar to the brick color on the building. On the brick, of course, we're going to match the color as closely as possible. And the brick piers themselves will have a sandstone cap to them with a decorative light, as you see in the picture. But again, that's not probably not, it's going to be very similar to that. It'll be whatever we can get locally for a lamp.
Is the only access through the restaurant?
No, it's actually sitting,
Is it possibly over here?
You
no,
can't
the
tell
access is right in this area here. The fence breaks about 10 feet.
Where would it be on here?
That is on this side, right? It's on the restaurant side of the patio.
So can you get to the patio from the street, is what I was
No.
asking? So the only access to the patio is from the
From
restaurant?
the restaurant side.
Okay.
That's correct. It's, I'm sure that has a lot to do with the control of the area. Especially since they might be having drinks out there. I think
Yeah.
we have to contain it.
There's 6 tables with 4 chairs each.
I think we're going to shoot for 8 with 4 each. I'm showing 6 on here with some soft seating, so there could be a combination of both. I'm not sure exactly how they plan on furnishing it.
Okay.
Have you been in contact with the fire marshal's office regarding the limitations?
We just were speaking with the fire marshal here,
Right.
and he didn't seem to have any problems. He said there might be some tweaks, and I'm not sure what they would be, but.
Okay. Now, the lights on the pillars, are they going to be on after hours as well? Are they going to be,
Well, I don't know the answer to that. I wouldn't think so. I would think that they would go off to help indicate it's closed.
okay.
We're planning the hours are 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Of course, weather permitting. On a day like today, it might be open till 10.
Would there be any other activities out there besides dining?
Not that we have discussed, no.
Do you know if the owners want to continue putting up A-frames? Because the A-frames, they put up for like different specials and so on like that. They'll put out there, like where the patio's going.
I don't know the answer to that. What about you, Sam? Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure if they still will continue that or not. Okay.
Might not be enough room for them, that's for sure.
That's what I was thinking. I
Because
just wanted-
that would be, we do have a distance from the sidewalk, but that would definitely, I mean, the sidewalk is here. So there'd be very little room for that kind of thing to
Right.
happen.
Is there any outdoor bar?
No.
Is the intent to keep the blacktop between where the fence and the planters are and the sidewalk, or is it to maybe put
it's-
some grass in?
No, it's intent to be hardscaped. Exactly how it finishes up, we're not sure. We have to coordinate the elevation for proper slope of this, so we don't have water coming back to the building. The coordination of that level across here, we're not sure exactly how that's going to end up. Could just end up being blacktop patched if things work out.
So the planters on the other side
It
of the
would,
fence?
it would be, something growing there wouldn't last very long. One winter, you're done. That's just really,
Close to the road.
it's,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, because where's the sidewalk?
Sidewalk is right here.
Yeah, it's not, the planters aren't on the sidewalk. are
No,
they?
they're in our right-of-way. We're keeping back a few feet from the right-of-way, so we're not encroaching.
Board, any other questions?
I don't have any questions at this time.
It's a lot going on for a small piece of area, but I guess you you scouted it out to make sure it can all fit.
Yep. There's been a lot of thought put into it, yeah. And also trying to make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible.
And for the record, no ambient music of any kind?
I have not heard that, and we do have power out there, so possibly.
Okay.
Jim, is there anything that you want to bring up from your perspective?
Jim Costello, Town of Penfield. Just to bring the board, and I know you are aware of it already, but just to make you aware of the fact that they did appear before the Historic Preservation Board on April 23rd. The board generally liked the concept. They did grant a certificate of appropriateness subject to your approval. They did talk about the form of landscaping, whether it be the cedar boxes or even hanging baskets or something off the fence line. We've got to go out and look at that as an issue, just maintenance issues associated with, debris and all that other stuff flowing around out there. It might be difficult for them to maintain those boxes. So we will be looking at that as an option, but they gave them the ability to make, various options with the baskets hanging off the fence or with that box design if it works out properly.
And Jim, while you're up there, I have one other question. It looks as if it's not going to be a problem, but none of the pillars or the fence are in the right-of-way, correct?
No, none of them. As a matter of fact, the fencing will be 4 or 5 feet beyond the right-of-way area.
Okay.
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 All right.
Any questions from the audience? Yes, Ed. Come on up.
Can I address the board?
Well, on this public hearing.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Ed Linskog, 40 Willow Pond Way. I'm no longer in the Four Corners District, but I'm still attached there. I was first there in 1946. I view this as a great enhancement to the Four Corners District. I'm entirely in favor of seeing any improvements. I mean, this was a drugstore, and now we're really making a building out of it. The question I have is it going to influence the traffic pattern because of the entrances to the parking lots? Can anybody answer that for me?
It appears that it'll be the same as it is now, that this is not going to affect the ingress or egress. There'll be maybe 3 or 4 parking spaces that might be removed but would be compensated for in the back. Is that an adequate way of putting it? So as far as, hopefully there'll be an increase in traffic with an increase of customers, but as far as...
I was just wondering whether
changing-
there could be an in and an out to the parking lots instead of the
It's an
current
interesting thought.
confusion the way it is now, because the Four Corners is tied up a lot with people making left turns into that one closest to the north of this establishment. That's my only
All right.
question. I hope you approve this.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone else? Okay. Jim, any other comments? No? Board? Okay. Well, next steps, thank you very much for coming in,
Okay.
but next steps will be, next Wednesday will be the first opportunity for the board to take up this matter at our work session in the back of the room, starting at 7 o'clock. It is open to the public, so if anyone has any interest in following the public hearing tonight, then come next week. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would you like these back?
Yeah, you don't, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I now pronounce this hearing closed, and we'll move on to public hearing number 2.
To consider an amendment to the local,
Oh. Yes.
We thought we were asked to have an opportunity to thank the board for their support of our program, Stop Hunger Now.
That's communication.
That's why we are here.
I think that's coming up next.
Yes.
Communications and announcements?
Well, we
I believe.
have one more hearing first. Yes.
to consider an amendment to the local law number 2 of 1994, known as the Town of Penfield Fire Sprinkler Law. The legal was published in the Penfield Post on April 23rd and posted on the town website and town clerk bulletin board. No postcards were mailed due to this being a townwide action.
Thank you. Is this appropriately before the board, Mr. Horowitz?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Tom, are you presenting this? Okay. Please come on up.
Tom Tett, Penfield Fire Marshal. I'm proposing that the town code now reflect the changes that have been made in the New York State Fire Code, and we'd marry our town code to the New York State Fire Code. Currently, we are at 50, which, when I say 50, it drives a sprinkler system. Any assembly over 50 would be required to put a sprinkler system in. The New York State Fire Code is at 100. So rather than have the hardships on the business, and a lot of thought has gone into this book, into the New York State Fire Code, I propose that our town would follow this code. And I would not say at 100, I would say it just follows this code. Should research find in the future that it can be more, or it needs to go back to less, it just follows along those lines. That's my recommendation.
Okay.
And we did have this at a work session. You came in and spoke with us, and we discussed
Yes.
and kind of vetted it out a little bit. So it's
Right.
from the board's perspective, we certainly are not, this is
That's correct.
familiar to us.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No, we've covered it, and it's really just updating to.
Right.
to
It really
meet
is. It's a
the standards.
1994 law that's become quite antiquated. We haven't found in the fire service that keeping it at 50 before we drive a fire sprinkler system has saved lives. What saves lives is proper exiting early warning detection systems such as smoke detectors, not sprinklers.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
very good. Are there any questions from the audience on this hearing?
Comments?
Any comments?
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Then I'll pronounce this public hearing closed as well, and we can take this up next Wednesday at our work session. Thank you very much. Okay, next is communications and announcements. And Jack happened to...
Step out right
Jack stepped out.
Jack had to leave, he has to babysit.
Oh, I
So he
understand,
thought we were up
okay.
first, so I'm Eleanor Zarnecki, and this is Charlie. Okay, we'll wait for you. This is Charlie Bellamy from the...
Belmo.
Bellamo from the Penfield Rotary, and we came to report about our Stop Hunger Now program that we put on in April. Our goal was to pack 50,000 meals and have 200 volunteers come in and help us do that. We were able, due to the funds we raised, to pack 60,000 meals.
Wow.
And we had over 300 volunteers come. You want to say something about the site?
Yes, I would. Mr. LaFountain's not here, but ladies and gentlemen of the Penfield Town Board, on behalf of the Stop Hunger Now program, the Penfield community sponsors, the many civic organizations that work with us, including the hundreds, I don't remember the total, somewhere near 300 volunteers. We gratefully thank you for letting us use the Penfield Rec facility. To say that the facility was adequate for our program would be an understatement. Not only that, we especially thank the employees of the rec center who gave us unwavering support, and their just outstanding contribution and attitude made this function possible for all of us. And we sincerely thank you.
We want to thank the 56 teams comprised of more than 300 volunteers from the East Side communities, which included Penfield, Webster, Fairport, East Rochester, Pittsford, Arundecoit, and Newark. We had teams and donations from 10 churches, 8 local businesses, 8 different Rotary groups, 3 of the high schools, 2 teams from the town of Penfield, employees, and 50 individuals that came just because they saw it in the paper. We want to thank the Messenger Post newspapers and the Democrat and Chronicle for doing a wonderful job giving us advertisement and then doing some follow-up studies with, follow-up paper interviews with us. And we want to thank, who else do we want to thank? I think that's it. I think that's it. We want to close by indicating that our plans next year is to package 100,000 meals. Mark from the Stop Hunger Now group came and looked at the facility and said, this facility, we could handle 100,000 meals with the same type of crews that we did. 4 sessions with 70 to 100 people at each session, we could get 100,000 meals done. We're in the process of doing some grant writing to get some grants to help cover the extra costs, but we want to thank everybody and hope they put it on their calendar for next year. We're going to try to do it the weekend of the April the 15th, I think is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, April the 15th next year. And we're just delighted that this is going to continue on and be our 3rd annual one. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, we have a T-shirt for Tony, but I'll wait for
Absolutely.
him to
We'll
get
take it for him.
Okay.
You could just lay it here in his chair.
Yep.
He won it, and we want to point out that the town logo is on the back of the T-shirt, along with all the other groups that donated.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before our announcements, I have one other presentation. If I could call the fire marshal back up to the podium. You're twin billing tonight, Tom.
Multitasking.
I have a proclamation to proclaim Building Safety Month, month of May. Whereas the town of Penfield's continuing efforts to address the critical issues of safety, energy efficiency, water conservation, and resilience in the built environment that affect our citizens, both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster, give us confidence that our structures are safe and sound. And whereas our confidence is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, laborers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians, dedicated members of the International Code Council, use a government consensus process that brings together local, state, and federal officials with expertise in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect Americans in the buildings where we live, learn, work, worship, play. And whereas the international codes, the most widely adopted building safety, energy, and fire prevention codes in the nation, are used by most U.S. cities, counties, and states. These modern building codes also include safeguards to protect the public from natural disasters such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown guardians of public safety, our local code officials who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings. And whereas resilient communities start with building codes, the theme for Building Safety Month 2015 encourages all Americans to raise awareness of the importance of building safe and resilient construction, fire prevention, disaster mitigation, water safety and conservation, energy efficiency, and new technologies in the construction industry. Building Safety Month 2015 encourages appropriate steps everyone can take to ensure that the places where we live, learn, work, worship, and play are safe and sustainable, and recognizes that countless lives have been saved due to implementation of safety codes by local and state agencies. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, Americans are asked to consider projects to improve building safety and sustainability at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local and state building departments and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now therefore, I, Supervisor Tony LaFountain, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 as Building Safety Month, and is dated today, May 6, 2015, and signed by the Supervisor and the rest of the town board. So Tom, for your duty to the town, it's a thankless task, but it doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you
for
very
sure.
much. We work hard at doing that. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and now for communications and announcements, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman Quinn.
Thank you.
The 33rd Annual New York State Town Clerk Association Conference was held in Rochester last week, and as Vice President of the Monroe County Town Clerk Tax Receiver and Collectors Association, I had the honor of accepting a certificate of appreciation for Monroe County in recognition of 100% countywide membership to the New York State Town Clerk Association, which is dedicated to the educational and professional development of town clerks. Congratulations to all 19 towns in Monroe County for being a part of the award. It's very difficult for municipalities to be 100% involved with their organization, and we're very proud of Monroe County for having all the towns involved. And during the conference, Deputy Clerk Lisa Grosser was awarded a certification for her for her RMC designation after having completed all requirements necessary for certification, and that's a registered municipal clerk designation. She is only one of a few deputy clerks to have taken the initiative to become an RMC. So congratulations, Lisa. The 15th annual Ride for Missing Children, sponsored by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, will be held on Friday, May 15th, 2015. More than 300 cyclists will ride 100 miles through Monroe County in honor of National Missing Children's Day. Riders will stop and ride by several area schools in East Rochester, Henrietta, Penfield, Pittsford, Brighton, Arundecoit, Greece, and the city of Rochester to bring prevention education messages to children. Please contact 585-242-0900 for information about this event. And lastly, I just wanted to mention that the Town of Penfield's free rabies clinic date for 2015 has changed. It usually is the beginning of June, but this time it will be the last Saturday in June, and it will be held on Saturday, June 27th from 10 a.m. to noon. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amy. One announcement for me this evening. The Penfield Trails Committee will sponsor a free guided canoe kayak paddle beginning at Ellison Park on Saturday, May 9th at 9 a.m. Enjoy a paddle down Arundecoit Creek in a canoe or kayak. Meet at Ellison Park South Entrance off Blossom Road, where we will paddle to the wetland center in the marshes near the bay. Follow the hike signs to the canoe launch location. Participants must provide your own canoe or kayak and a personal flotation device. No one will be allowed to participate without a flotation device. While the guided paddle is free, participants are asked to pre-register by calling Penfield Recreation at 340-8655, option 6. Councilwoman Metzler.
Thank you. Penfield's annual Memorial Day Ceremony of Remembrance will be held Monday, May 25th at 10:30 a.m. at Veterans Memorial Park. This year's guest speaker will be Penfield resident Laura Stradley, Director of the Monroe County Veterans Service Agency. Music will be performed by the Penfield Pops Band. Reserve a rose in honor or memory of a friend or loved one who has served or is serving in our nation's armed forces. This presentation of roses takes place during the ceremony. If interested, please call Sabrina Renner at Penfield Rec at 340-8651 to participate, or visit penfieldrec.org for more information. Also, the Department of Public Works will host its annual spring drop-off at the 1607 Jackson Road facility on Friday, May 8th from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, May 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Drop-off is for Penfield residents only. We will accept general household refuse, metals, concrete, brush, tree limbs, tires. We will not accept TVs, computers, monitors, propane tanks, grass clippings, leaves, chemical drums, hazardous materials, gasoline, motor oil, paint, or driveway sealer. So again, the spring drop-off May 8th and May 9th at the highway facility. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Linda.
I have 3 announcements. The first is the Penfield Rotary Club's 18th annual golf tournament will take place on Monday, June 1st at Shadow Lake Golf Club. This event is co-sponsored by Warrior Salute, a service of CDS Monarch, and proceeds will support Warrior Salute programs plus the local and international Rotary service projects. They include Camp Hakamo College scholarships for high school, International Youth Exchange, Water for Sudan. This year, the tournament will be adding more events such as Ball in the Boat, Double Your Money, and a putting contest, hole-in-one, and more. The registration table opens at 11, followed by lunch and a shotgun at 12:30. Registration is $125 per golfer, includes lunch, cocktail hour, and Shadow Lakes Classic Barbecue dinner. Dinner only is available for $40 and will be at 6 p.m. To register online or for more information, go to www.penfieldrotary.org. My second announcement is that my next community chat will be Tuesday, May 19th, 5:30 to 7 in the new book area at the library, if anyone wants to come and talk about anything they have on their mind about Penfield. And my last announcement is the Penfield Players continue with their spring production of Death Trap. It's directed by Jack Simmel and written by Ira 11. Death Trap marks the final production of the Penfield Players' 50th season. For 50 years, the Penfield Players have been entertaining audiences and is one of the oldest theater groups in Rochester. Remaining show dates and times are May 8th, 9th, 15th, 16th at 8 p.m. All performances are at the Community Center, 1985 Baird Road. To order tickets, please call Penfield Recreation, 340-8655, option 6, to charge by phone, or visit penfieldrec.org. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Horwitz?
Nothing further tonight, Mr. Quinn.
Thank you very much. Move on to public participation. Is there anyone in the auditorium who'd like to address the board? Yes, Ed, please.
Ed Linskog, 40 Willow Pond Way. I had an opportunity to chat with Tony last night a little bit. The issues involved the fence along the eastern or the western boundary of the school property. The fence is not on the property line for the school district. The new fence that was installed by the developer in the subdivision that's going in, of course, only goes to his property line. It leaves a gap. The piece that's behind, the piece of property that's behind the fence to the west of the fence belongs to the school district, but nobody's maintaining it because it's someplace different. We're still getting the animals through there, and what Tony and I talked about was maybe terminating a section of that high school fence to the end of the fences that Rudy's putting up. I mean, there's a number of options, but I want to make sure that something occurs so that this no man's land gets properly maintained. Mm-hmm. What has happened is weeds grow up and deer ticks have been appearing in the area because there's still a lot of deer population in that area of the high school. The other area that we've experienced tick problems is behind CG Finney. They're not mowing. There's a 100-foot strip that belongs to the Penfield School District that Finney takes care of, but Finney doesn't only mows what they need to for their ball diamonds, but all the kids run through there, and there's ball games and so on and so forth, and I don't think people are aware of the tick population in Penfield, or whether they're aware enough to look after they finish their practices whether they picked up a tick or not, because they're not very big. The reason it was brought to my attention is they kept appearing on my dog. Well, since I moved, I no longer have the dog, so I got rid of the problem, but that doesn't mean it still doesn't exist. I also had a conversation with Mr. Costello tonight, and I understand he and Supervisor LaFountain are meeting with developer Rudy next sometime this week to resolve some of the issues we have with the builder. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone else? George?
Just a couple of quick comments and a question.
Your name
And George.
Name and address for the record, please.
George Hebert, 108 Rosebud Trail,
Thank
Webster.
you.
Actually in the town of Penfield. Webster mailing address. Seems like I'm a big fan of the highway department, but I do want to applaud our highway department, and I believe the county and the state are also involved in fixing our pothole season issues. The roads looked a lot like war zones, I think, at some points in time, and many of them, if not all of them, have been fixed at this point. So I would like to pass along my thanks to the Highway Department and all of their allies in this effort. However, as always, some of the potholes are starting to reappear, probably due to the speed with which they were fixed and the type of approach they had to use when they're trying to fix them when it's still cold out. How do we go about notifying the town to, replace the ones that are going to eat cars that are growing again?
Well, you can always, any resident can always contact the highway department directly or any one of us, and we can definitely work with Ronnie and his team to ensure that, there's proper notification, that they're aware that the potholes exist. Absolutely.
Okay.
For an easy number, 340-8710, gets you a direct line into the highway department, DPW department. And the one I always like is 1-800-POTHOLE. And if you dial 1-800-POTHOLE, you'll get a dispatcher. And if it happens to be a state dispatcher, if it's on a state road, he'll get it fixed. If not, he'll pass it on to the right agency that has jurisdiction.
Thank you. I like your T-shirt, Tony. Strikeout Cancer 2015.
Strikeout Cancer, a little plug for Penfield Fairport baseball game. Supervisor Mike Barker and myself had the honor of throwing out the first pitch for the game. This is the third or fourth year that they've done this, and I'm happy to report that the committee has raised more than $2,000 that they're giving to help stamp out cancer. So glad to be part of it, and I did make it to the plate. I knew that was going to be your next question.
Not as a batter.
What's that?
Not as a hitter.
No. The first pitch did get to the plate, though.
Oh, there you go. I got you.
So,
thank you, Mike.
Thank you, George. Okay, Mr. Supervisor.
great to be back. Thank you. Welcome. I
I'm glad you
appreciate
didn't
it.
bounce it.
All right. So we're at public participation?
Yes.
And seeing no other public participation, and we'll move on to additions, deletions to the board, to the agenda, excuse me. Seeing none from the board, clerk or attorney, we'll move on to our approval of minutes of April 1st, 2015. We have the minutes before us, and I would ask for a motion of approval for those minutes, please.
I move that the minutes of April 1st be approved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there a discussion on those? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Has the board, town clerk, town attorney received any petitions since the last get-together? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to resolutions by function. We'll start with law and finance, please.
Authorize the town comptroller to attend the PERMA annual meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Whereas the town controller is on the board of directors for the Workers' Compensation Carrier Public Employees Risk Management Association, and whereas the PERMA board meeting will be held on May 20th, 2015 at Bolton Landing, New York, and is paid fully for mileage and hotel expenses by PERMA. And whereas the PERMA annual conference will be held on May 21st and May 22nd at Bolton Landing, be it resolved that the town controller attend the PERMA board meeting and PERMA annual conference at no cost to the town of Penfield.
Thank you. Any discussions on this resolution? See none. A roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Transfer funds to purchase property at 1825 Penfield Road, 2126 5 Mile Line Road, and properties at 1833 and 1839 Penfield Road.
So moved.
Second.
Whereas the town board authorizes the purchase of property at 1825 Penfield Road through Town Board Resolution 14T-174, property at 2126 5 Mile Line Road through Town Board Resolution 14T-173, and properties at 1833 and 1839 Penfield Road through Town Board Resolution 13T-087. And whereas the town board authorized these purchases of property for the purpose of creating a public park facility in the southeast quadrant of the Penfield Four Corners. And whereas these properties all had an appraisal prepared by Midland Appraisal Associates to determine the fair market value for said property. And whereas the funds to pay for these properties will be appropriated from unappropriated fund balance from the general fund as follows. From budget surplus, increase $260,000, revised amount $419,258. General fund expenditures, purchase of parking lots totals $260,000, revised amount $260,000.
Thank you.
Yes.
Discussion on this resolution.
Well, this is a very exciting resolution. Are you
Yes.
going to speak to it?
I'll be more than happy to speak to it.
But I also want to thank you and Jim Costello for all the work you've done, because this has been in front of me before you were town supervisor. This has been a long-standing thing that we wanted to accomplish, but it's been through you and Jim that it's finally come to fruition. So please speak of it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I think that the constant here has been Mr. Costello through multiple different administrations. And I think the other constant has been our great town attorney, Dick Horowitz. And so essentially, this is the last quadrant in the Four Corners, the southeast quadrant, where we've been able to put together a plan for parking. It's a project that we've probably worked on for more than 25 years. Things finally came together to acquire properties from 3 different property owners to make that part of a municipal parking lot. Now we have parking on all 4 quadrants that we have worked together, some that the town owns, some that the town leases, and some that is part of the building or the businesses in that area. So it is exciting. It is something that I think was a vision that we had, and I'm glad that Mr. Costello, Mr. Horowitz, and multiple others had an opportunity to pull this finally together. I think this is going to be good for the business community in that area. I think it's going to be good for our residents overall. So thank you again, Mr. Costello, Mr. Horowitz, and the entire board.
And I would be remiss if I didn't also thank Mr. LaFountain and the board for their support in this important project for many, many years.
And we officially closed the properties last Friday, so they're officially in the fold, as they say. So
excellent,
very good. So thank you, Linda. Thank you, Dick and Jim and the rest of the board. Okay, seeing no other comments, I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization to maintain properties and assess the charges to the 2016 property tax bills.
So moved.
Second.
Whereas on October 2nd, 1996, the Town Board of the Town of Penfield adopted Article 4-4-28 of the Penfield zoning ordinance entitled Property Maintenance. And whereas the purpose of Article 4-4-28 of the Penfield zoning ordinance is to prevent the gradual encroachment of blight, deterioration, unsightliness, and property devaluation and to assure that all premises within the town of Penfield are maintained in a manner that will assure the health, safety, and welfare of the general public. And whereas the property owner of 24 Jacaranda Court has failed to maintain the exterior areas and secure the vacant residence at the subject property, which continues to be a concern for the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding neighbors. And whereas the town staff has continually requested the property owner to maintain at this location with no result. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the fire marshal and building, zoning, and code compliance supervisor to have the property appropriately maintained. And be it further resolved that the town board authorizes that the cost of said maintenance and any necessary subsequent maintenance during the 2015 season also be charged to the 2016 property tax bill for the subject property. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Recognizing May 2015 as National Historic Preservation Month.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability, and whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds, whereas it's important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield does hereby proclaim May 2015 as National Historic Preservation Month and call upon the people of the Town of Penfield to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance.
Thank you. Discussion?
I would just like to recognize again Supervisor LaFountain, as I did earlier when we presented the Crane Award, recognize our Historic Preservation Board, a group of residents who, as I did mention earlier, is very dedicated to historic preservation and to their job as a board to review applications coming before it. So certainly I appreciate their hard work, as well as Jim Costello oversees the Historic Preservation Board, along with Kathy Knauer, our town historian. I am the town liaison, and the town historian also attends the meetings to certainly weigh in and offer her expertise and her comments regarding any questions or concerns that the board may have regarding the applications before then. So once again, May 20, 2015 is National Historic Preservation Month, and certainly our Historic Preservation Board will continue their hard work throughout the month of May.
Great. And thank you for your support as liaison to that group. Okay, seeing no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization to post 2 no parking signs and relocation of an existing pedestrian crossing sign on the east side of 5 Mile Line Road in the Four Corners.
Moved.
Second.
The Monroe County Department of Transportation has requested the placement of 2 no parking signs to be placed on the east side of 5 Mile Line Road and the relocation of a pedestrian crossing sign to be relocated further to the south of its current location to provide for safer access and pedestrian crossing on 5 Mile Line Road as a result of the proposed relocation of the entrance to 2107 5 Mile Line Road. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield does hereby authorize the placement of 2 no parking signs and the relocation of the existing pedestrian crossing to the south, all in compliance with the requirements of the Monroe County Department of Transportation to provide safer traffic movement and pedestrian crossing on 5 Mile Line Road. And be it further resolved that the cost of installation and relocation of the signs shall be borne by the developer who is requesting the relocation of the driveway at 2107 5 Mile Line Road.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Advertising for sealed proposals for the Town of Penfield Department of Public Works Salter Storage Rack System.
Moved.
Second.
Be it resolved that the Director of Public Works be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a manner prescribed by law for sealed proposals to furnish the Town of Penfield Department of Public Works with a Salter storage rack system designed for DPW employees to safely remove and store the Salter from their trucks in a safe and secure manner. And be it further resolved that the Salter storage rack system covered by such proposal shall be in accordance with specifications prepared by the Director of Public Works. Sealed proposals are to be received in the office of the Town Clerk until May 28, 2015 at 11 a.m. local time, and there and then are to be opened by the Town Clerk.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Acceptance of ownership and maintenance responsibility for town drainage improvements within the New York State right-of-way of Empire Boulevard in conjunction with the installation of sidewalks on the east side of Empire Boulevard.
Moved.
Second.
Town of Penfield is requiring that a portion of the stormwater drainage system be enclosed along Empire Boulevard in conjunction with the installation of sidewalks on the east side of the road as part of the Baytown Plaza expansion. The Town Board, acting as lead agency, has classified this proposal as an unlisted action. In order to accommodate the new sidewalks, the New York State DOT's existing drainage system must be extended into the right-of-way of Empire Boulevard, as more particularly shown on a map and plan which is attached to the resolution. The State of New York will only allow the enclosed drainage to be constructed and connected to the state highway drainage system if the Town of Penfield accepts ownership and responsibility for all maintenance and repairs of the pipes and catch basins. The New York DOT shall not be liable for any damage or injury to the developer, property owner, its agents, employees, or any other person, or to any other property covered by the highway work permit. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Penfield hereby accepts maintenance responsibility of that particular portion of the drainage system that will be located and tied into the New York State drainage system as shown on the plan and as shown on the map attached to the resolution and made a part of this resolution. Be it further resolved that the Town Clerk is also directed to transmit 2 certified copies of this resolution to the New York State Department of Transportation.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes. Authorization for supervisor to sign recreation contracts.
So moved.
Second.
This resolution has the town supervisor signing 4 recreation contracts, and 3 of them deal with the July 4th Independence Day celebration.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Aye.
LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Thank you. Is there any old business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none, is there any new business to come before the board this evening? Again, seeing none, this is our second opportunity for public participation. You can do that if you're in the audience. You can call in at 340-8771, or you can log on at penfield.org. Is there anyone that would like to address the board on any matter? Okay, seeing none, just a couple of brief comments. First, right after this meeting, if you stay tuned on Channel 12, the Little League video in full length will be shown for opening day this past Saturday. It was a great event. Our board was there to cheer on all of the teams. It was probably one of the best turnouts that we've had. We also recognized a championship group and to honor them for their great work last season. And we look forward to a great season this year. I'd also like to give one more shout out to the Penfield and Fairport High Schools who are playing right now, and their efforts for Coaches versus Cancer and all the good work that both teams did. I wish them both a great game tonight. I do have a soft spot, obviously, for Go Penfield. And I'd like to thank Mr. Linskog and Mr. Hebert for joining us this evening to comment on things going on in the community. That's what helps make our community even better. So thank you for that. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Quinn, our Deputy Supervisor, for pinch hitting, no pun intended, but thank you, Mr. Quinn, for doing that.
Thank you, Tony. Just one quick, I would be remiss if I didn't wish my mother and wife and every other mother in Penfield a happy Mother's Day this Sunday.
Very good, a lot of class, and you probably helped keep us all out of the tapioca, so thank you for that. Seeing no further business to come before the board this evening, the May 6, 2015 Town Board stands adjourned. And again, please stay tuned to the Penfield Little League opening day that will be shown following this meeting. Have a great evening.